You're recording.
Hello, I'm Dennis Mitchell, and I'm going to talk about a new testing tool for the ECM variable speed or X13 type motors. This is called the Motor Pro tool, and I always wanted to everything that I manufacture or make. It's something I've always wanted to do a good job at a reasonable price for the service technician. And now that they banned the PSC motors from being on air conditioning equipment, everything out there now is going to be an X13 constant torque or some type of a variable speed motor. And you could spend around $100 to get a tester that only does certain motors and spend as much as over 300 to get one that's not always tech friendly as far as instructions on how to use the tool. So I came up with something that's very simple that does all the motors. It does the 2.0, 2.3, and 2.5 model variable speeds using the 16 pin plug, and then I've got the 4-pin plug on this side over here for the 3.0 variable speed communicating systems. And it's even got an adapter that plugs into the black 4-pin plug that robs the 24 volts, and you attach these other ends to an X13 motor, a constant torque, even the 24 volt Mars Azure motor, it will test that. So we've got one tool that does all the motors. And when you get the motor itself, it'll come with instructions on letting you know what the benefits are and introduction to the motor. We've got the instructions how to use it, and we've even got another page here that's got pictures that point out how to put the tool on the system. Now, I made it as simple as possible. Once you've taken the cut the power off to the furnace and took the panel off, all you need to do is plug in the correct plug for your type of motor, and on this end it's just simple 24 volts from the supply, black for common ground and the red for the red load side. So when you use the tool, it just plugging into the 24 volt supply. You plug the correct plug for whatever type motor you're using. Once you do that and apply the 24 volts, there's a LED light that lights up letting you know that we have our signal going to the motor. And within seconds, it'll go in and start the motor. Of course, if there's not a problem with the motor, it'll start it. It's as simple as that. It takes 1 minute. You don't waste any time trying to diagnose or figure out, is it the motor or is it something else. This will tell you within a minute after you apply the 24 volts and have the device plugged into your motor module. The LED light will light up letting you know I've got my signal. Within seconds it starts the motor. If it doesn't start the motor, well, the problem lies, you'll have to go a little bit further in diagnosing it. But if you want to test the motor out to find out, is it the motor or is it something else in the system, this device right here does all the motors, and it'll do it within seconds and start up that motor if there's not a problem with the motor. So you got those two ways that you can go. It doesn't take but a minute to diagnose your problem. You walk up there and have it plugged in and power it up. If the motor starts within seconds, then you know, okay, there's not a problem with the motor, it's something else. The main board, wire harness, that type of situation. if you do this and you have power and our signal going to the motor and it doesn't start, well, then you have to look further. That means you will have to go ahead and check the line voltage plug going to it. You may have to go ahead and pull the blower assembly out a little bit and take the end bell off to inspect it. It's rare that it's the motor winding itself. It's most likely that thermistor on the variable speed, or it could be the programming. So I hope this helps you out. I want you to understand this is the simplest thing to use. You don't have to waste a lot of time diagnosing it. It's plug it into the motor, apply 24 volts. The LED light will light up, letting you know we have our signal. The motor should run. And that's the main thing that you want to do. You want to make sure that we either going to diagnose it with either the motor or something else wrong with the system. And that'll be it.